Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Vobes show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, on the 6th of July, 2018? I nearly said 2009. I'm not quite sure why I said 2009. Not that I actually did say 2009, but I very closely nearly said 2009. Anyway, it's nearly 2007, actually, in actual fact. Nearly 2000... No, what am I saying? It's nearly the 7th of July. Brain is not working. The reason the brain is not working, ladies and gentlemen, is not till about 2 minutes ago was I flopped out in an armchair fast asleep. I set my alarm for 10 to, having set everything else up here in the studio. My alarm didn't go off. My alarm did not go off. I woke up 2 minutes ago with 2 minutes to 8 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen, and all of a sudden there was I going, oh my God. Well, in fact, I used a different sort of language. And I have managed to make a cup of tea, and that's about all. But, yes, I was fast asleep. Because I don't know why, I was absolutely whacked. I was whacked today, ladies and gentlemen. Been running around as ever, like I usually do. But I think maybe I was up at 5 o'clock this morning, and it's all caught up with me. And now I'm feeling, oh, I could go to sleep. But no, ladies and gentlemen, no, I can't possibly go to sleep. Not quite yet, because there is things to do, people to see, phone calls to make, letters to write, and all of that nonsense. Let's see who is out there watching. Well, ladies and gentlemen, would you believe it? It is the usual crowd. We have Nigel Sadler, Judith Oakley, Kevin Hall, Anne Osborne, Ian Beddoes, Andy Ash, Pam McIntosh, Emily Champion, Mark Selwood, to name but the first few that I have managed to see. Let me have a slurp of coffee, ladies and gentlemen. Now, first of all, apologise. Let me apologise. I'm so sorry. Let me apologise. We're not having a show yesterday. Yesterday morning, which was the 5th of July, I was slightly worried, ladies and gentlemen. I was slightly worried about the state of the show, the state of the world, the state of affairs, the state of my undress. I was slightly worried, ladies and gentlemen, about how the show was going, and the show that we did in the allotments at the lovely Julia's allotment. So I think the lovely Julia is at Roller Disco this evening. I'm not too sure. Anyway, oh, why is that not scrolling? Hang on a minute, let's just get that down there. There we go. So yes, I was slightly worried that the show we did was not quite. Thank you, band. Thank you, band. It was not quite as good as it could have been, and although people have told me actually it was all right, and I needn't to be worried, and you know, all that kind of stuff, and well, I started to get a bit confused. Now, please do not share tonight's show, and if you have, unshare it immediately if you can know how to do it. Please do not share this on the Bald Explorer page. This is, I want to keep the Vobes show very separate from the Bald Explorer. I know it started out as a sort of a live with the Bald Explorer, but I want to keep it very separate if that's at all possible. That would be absolutely fantastic. So please do not share it. That will be good. I'm not quite. The reason is there's this thought. There's this thought that you come along, you see the Bald Explorer, you think, oh, he's a nice bloke, isn't he? What a nice bloke going round the Forest of Dean. What a lovely old bloke. Look, he's lost, isn't he? Doesn't know he's got a map. He's got his glasses. He's got his walking boots. He's got his gimbal. He's got his camera. He's got no hair. He's a lovely, lovely lad. He's Granny's favourite, isn't he? Oh, how lovely. And then they see that, oh, what's this? He does a live show. That's nice. And they goes off and they watch the live show. And then suddenly they think, yeah, I didn't expect that. He's a weird bloke, and he's a strange bloke. He's an outrageous bloke. He's an outspoken bloke. He shouldn't be doing this nonsense. So my point is, ladies and gentlemen, that these are two different animals, and I think they should be completely separate, because I think some people who join the group go, oh, no. Oh, no. I don't like this. I really don't like it. I want nothing to do with it. Please. That's it. And those that do like a bit of comedy, see the film, the normal Bald Explorer stuff, and go, here. When's he doing the Kenneth Williams voices? Oh, no, he's not mucking about. Oh, matron, no. When's he doing all that? So that's the thing. That's the difference. So now, Nikki Jess. Are you paying attention, Nikki Jess? Are you? I'm talking to you, Nikki Jess. Yes, you, Nikki Jess. You. Can you stop saying hello to every single person? You've said hello to everybody. That's fine. I'm going to lay down some rules, ladies and gentlemen. You may not realise it, but I've been a little bit annoyed when you all start talking to yourselves in the chat room. The reason is, it's very tricky to do this show, to talk to you, keep a stream of consciousness and talk about where we're going, with you all gassing about, you know, what the football's doing, or how somebody's haircut is done, or whether their front lawn has been correctly chopped in the right fashion, or all that sort of malarkey. And then I'm looking down to see what your, you know, what comments about the stuff that we're talking about, and I can't, you know, what you're talking about is completely related, and I'm sort of going, what are you on about? It's very tricky, ladies and gentlemen. So we need to have some sort of order, else I'm going to throw all my toys out of the pram and I stop altogether. No, you just thought for a moment that it had frozen, didn't you? It had. I had frozen, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Hall says he's deleted the share. Well done, that's very much. Can I have your Zoom H2 on the shelf, says Mark Selwood. No, you can't. Nikki Jess says, yeah. I've warned you, Nikki. Paul Couchman has joined. Hello, Paul. I'm thrilled to say, ladies and gentlemen, that Paul Couchman and I have had communication this morning, and we are going to get together with the lovely Julia, and we're going to be making some more wonderful kitchen cooking videos. We're going back in time, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm not sure what Paul Couchman has in mind in his special book, but he's been given this ancient book. I think it predates history itself. It's a lovely book, predates history, and he's going to select something from there, and it's going to be fantastic. So we've got that. I can't remember the exact date now off the top of my head. But it's in my diary, so that's the main thing. Nikki Jess is... I'm warning you, Nikki. I'm warning you. She's smiling her head off now, which is marvellous. Steve Blakey is sending loads of love, which is very good. Yes, it was very early this morning. I was up early. I'm always up early. That's the trouble. The lovely Julia says, Kevin, you can share to your Facebook feed, but not the Bald Explorer. Yes, you can share it wherever else you like, but just don't please bung it on the Bald Explorer. That's exactly right. Thank you, lovely Julia, who I really need to be sitting here helping me tonight because, as I say, it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. I'm so tired that I set up the show and then I thought, it was about 22 and I thought, give me 15 minutes. I just need to sit down and have 15 minutes to do my own, to have a snooze. Set my alarm on my phone and it didn't go off. I don't know what happened. I must have pressed the wrong button. And then I woke up and I went, oh my God. Looked at the time and it was 2 minutes to 8. 2 minutes to 8. So here am I with... Normally, I've written a script out. Not a script, I've written a list of things to talk about, things to go through. And I thought even if I had 10 minutes, I was so tired, ladies and gentlemen, so tired. Joe Smith thinks, I think you bring a little special to the Bald Explorer and the Vobes Show. You're much better than your average country file presenter. Well, you're very kind, Joe. You see, my worry, Joe, this is my worry. My worry, Joe, is it's people like yourself, somebody lovely like you, Joe, will be interested in the Bald Explorer and the Bald Explorer Live stuff, like the Regency Townhouse thing that we did, and go, do you know what, let's get this bloke involved in our project. And I want to get involved in a lot of projects. And then you'll see the Vobes Show and think, oh my God, he's an idiot. We don't want him involved. And that's why I want to try and separate the two, because sometimes I'm a little bit daft and a bit stupid and a bit out of control. And I don't want that to be detrimental to the Bald Explorer. Talking of being involved in things, now I haven't prepared myself and I apologise. See, this is where I'm showing myself up, but honestly, I've just been running around today. I'm absolutely knackered. Absolutely knackered. I saw, it was actually one of my lovely YouTube people. I've got to get my head together here. I'm struggling, ladies and gentlemen, I'm struggling. One of my lovely YouTube people said, if you want to save a forest, that's right, they've been watching the Forest of Dean videos, which I hope you've been enjoying. And he said, if you want to save a forest, you want to check out this link. And I went to check out the link, and it was Save the Mortimer Forest. I think that's what it's called. The Mortimer Forest, which is north of Herefordshire, South Shropshire. So I thought that's interesting. Now, apparently, this is quite bizarre. The Forestry Commission the Forestry Commission, you think is a good outfit and a good organisation. They have this sort of alter ego, they have this sister company which wants to build in the Mortimer Forest a luxury hotel with lots of these spa baths. Now, Richard Suggett is a master of the spa bath. He sits in an outdoor gurgling pool most nights, apparently. But anyway, that's his own business. But the thing is, they want to build these top quality 5-star cabins, or more than cabins, luxury hotel types things, with loads of these outdoor pond things that you sit in with the water juggling around your feet, in the middle of this beautiful place, in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the Forestry Commission. But it's it's a sister company by the Forestry Commission. And the people who are there are saying this is not really keeping to the ethos that the Forestry Commission ought to be doing. Plus the fact we've got quiet country lanes. This is beautiful land. We don't want our woodland spoilt. Now, the reason the Forestry Commission is doing it is because they're desperate for money. And while the chap I was talking to, a lovely bloke called Nigel, he said, the Forestry Commission are just not very good at fundraising stuff. They seem to do the wrong thing. They've got their heart in the right place, but this project is not a good idea because it will have lots of people on the roads. It's going to use up the water. Apparently they all they use, what are those wells that he did tell me the name of it, those the boreholes. They use boreholes. So they use boreholes to get the water up, and they said they're going to use up some phenomenal amount of water they need to build this thing. Anyway, so I said that sounds very interesting. I'm going to come up, make a video about it and get involved. So I am, and I'll tell you more about that once I've reread the website and all the rest of it. I have posted it on the Board Explorer pages and in the group. Do check it out. Correct me if I'm wrong. Joe Smith says, I can see that would be your concern, but you're very different. You put a very different spin on things, but your rules. Well, that's very kind of you, Joe, because I was actually quite worried that you would see this and think, well, we don't want this idiot at Biddenden. We don't want any of his nonsense, but I'm pleased that you haven't been put off, so that's really good. Richard Suggett says, "I'm right in it now." Are you in your water bucket now, Richard Suggett? Gary Richardson comes along. Gary Richardson. Now, this isn't the same Gary Richardson that's on BBC Radio 4, is it, that does the sport? Are you the same Gary Richardson? Both shows are very good and so different. Keep up the work, Richard. Thank you very much, Gary Richardson. I'd be interested to know if that's the same famous Gary Richardson, or just as famous as you are for being Gary Richardson in your own family and with your own people. But, it's always interesting. Andy S. says, plenty of bubbles, is there, Richard S.? Claire Leach has joined. Hello, Claire. Hello, Claire. Now, I need to get down humbly on my hands and knees for Claire Leach, because I said to her yesterday when we saw her at the Arlington Reservoir, we had a little stroll around, it was all very nice. Lovely Julia was there chaperoning, make sure I was not doing anything untoward. And I said to Claire Leach, I was going to do a show yesterday, because she was very upset. Oh, my goodness, poor old Claire was weepy. She was weeping. She had a hanky out. She was blowing her hooter. She was just distraught, absolutely distraught. It was a shame. Poor love. I felt really sorry for Claire, because she said, "Oh, I listened to your Naked Englishman podcast." Naked Englishman podcast, for those that don't know, is supplied daily in audio format for my patrons only. It's a private special thing that I do for my patrons only. Close brackets, back to the story. I can't cope. You sounded down. Oh, you sounded suicidal. I thought the what do you call those things that you slash your wrists with? The razor blades. Thank you. The razor blades. I thought the razor blades were going to be out. The blood would be pumping all over the place. That you'd be drowning your sorrows in it, and you were going to be a nightmare. Oh, God. So obviously I had to slap her around the face, as you can imagine, because she was so distraught. She was, I mean, it was very difficult. There were people in the car park, for instance, watching. They were looking at this poor woman who was, and they had no idea what she was on about. Naked Englishman, she said. Naked Englishman, that bloke, that lovely bloke, that bald bloke, that very smart bald bloke, well-spoken chap with a gimbal. He's not naked, he's got his clothes on. What is she talking about, they said. And some of them were ready to, that I could see some of them, they raised their shotguns, ladies and gentlemen, to put her out of her misery because she was going on a bit. Oh, God, Richard, I can't cope. I really can't cope. You were so distraught. Please, please, she said. I beg of you, do a show. Please do a show. And I said, all right, Claire, if it will make you feel better. I lied, glibly, basically. I lied. And I said, yes, I'll do a show. I'll do a show. Anything to shut you up. And she said, oh, she blubbered a bit more. We dunked her into the water of the Arlington Reservoir, which actually contains that same stuff that they've used in Wiltshire, apparently, to kill the odd people off who come in contact with it. You know, the Russian stuff. We had to plonked her in there for a little bit. And then she was. You asked the lovely Julia. People are smiling and laughing and weeping with it. Yeah, and it's absolutely true. All of this, isn't it true, Claire? She was blubbery. Anyway, we got her up and we took her off and bunged her into a hide, ladies and gentlemen, so no one could see her. And the photo evidence is on the Bald Explorer group page. You only have to look there and you'll see a picture of the lovely Claire. So Claire Leach said, and then we had a cup of tea. Yes, that's very true. And then we had a cup of tea. And, you know, as if by magic, I completely forgot my promise to do the show. And I forgot to do the show yesterday because I had the evening off, as you noticed. Now it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for me to have a slurp of coffee. Because I'm... although that story may not sound factually true, and there may be the odd exaggeration in there, there may be just a slight bit of overacting on my behalf. It has woken me up, I can tell you that. So just bear with me one sec. So that's delish. Yes, and then Claire and the lovely Julia ran off into the sunset. That's very true, which was a shame because I had the car keys and I had to wait until the sun had completely set. And then I said, all right, girls, had your hissy fit? Shall we go now? There is your son to pick up from school, and there's your daughter to pick up from her school. Come on, girls. And, you know, they got back into the car, and they were fine. They let the Vobes drive them back, you know. So anyway, we managed to sort that all out. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go and see what you've been posting in the gallery. The lovely Julia has been specially commissioned this week with going into the gallery and pulling out the thing. So a big round of applause. Way! And a big one of these to the lovely Julia, who has managed to make my life so much better by going into the gallery and hoiking out with her special hoik stick, which she has, the pictures that she thinks might be represented of the gallery and the things that people have got up to. So let's have a little gander in there and see what is going on. Now, I hope you're all doing the dance. Now, I know you're all a bit scared. You're all a bit scared of what to type. You can type for a few minutes, anything you like, whilst I do the gallery, all right? And it's like the headmaster has gathered you all in his study, isn't it? And given you a good telling off. I don't know. We just get some decorum back. So here we go. Let's have a look. So first of all, we're starting with the lovely Judith Oakley. Here we go. This is not. I'm not saying that this is Judith Oakley. Of course, this is a Deal in Kent, and she's found Cockle Swamp Alley. Not that we get to see it here, but if you go to the Bald Explorer group page, perhaps you'll get to see the Cockle Swamp Alley. It's probably very exciting. Here we get to see the backside of some young bloke. This is Elaine Brazier. No, it's not the backside of Elaine Brazier. We mustn't do that. And this is somebody holding something. It looks like a bloke holding up a pair of pants from where I'm standing. And he says, "We will remember them." Yeah, they were probably very smelly pants. And having changed them, you'll never forget the sight of that, do you? So I'm not quite sure what that's all about or where indeed that is, but thanks very much, Elaine Brazier, for posting that. Simon Brown, the lovely Simon Brown from Cambridgeshire, has been posting rapeseed plants, and they're no longer yellow. I imagine that they've gone a very sort of light brownie, dying off brownie. And he says, they need rain! They need rain! Where is the rain when you want it? We don't want the rain, thank you very much. Keep the rain in Spain. Richard S., I guess that's Mr. Suggett, is saying, where am I in Friday? And now, does anybody know where this lovely tree, this wonderful looking tree, and what is the tree? That's what I can't see the leaves very well. It looks, it's interesting when you get a tree that has branches coming off it like that so low. It's an unusual tree. I wouldn't imagine it's been coppiced at that sort of height, but it may be, and it's grown and whatever. But I don't know. Is it an oak underneath all that? Be very interested to know. Maybe somebody can tell me. That would be good. Meanwhile, here is another coppiced tree. This is the lovely Julia has posted out this. I'm not quite sure if this is from our trip at Binstead. This is a 300-year-old ex-coppiced beech. And look at those. Look at the size of the girth of that. It's coppiced to a stool. What you're looking at is the stool, the base of it. When you've got lots of different bits coming up like that, they call it a stool. And what happens is the tree is cut down, and lots of little shoots, as you can see around the base of that. There's leaves, isn't there? Well, all those leaves are on little stems. Well, they'll probably all die off actually, because they won't be able to reach up high enough before the main canopy gets there, because they'll be after the height. But when you chop a tree down, the canopy above becomes clear, and sunlight can come down, and the sunlight hits the stump or the stool, and a new stem grows up, and it soon becomes a tree over years, of course, and it's trying to get up into the light. So thanks for that, lovely Julia. And here the Sussex woodman Mark Emery has posted a bird. No idea what bird it is. That's absurd, but it is a bird. Thank you very much, lovely Julia, for that. And meanwhile, Henry Alum Spoman, that's not his name. His name's something different to that. Spoman Park in Bubanji, can't read any of that. I don't know where that is, but that's the place. Yeah, if you know where that is and tell me, that would be interesting to somebody, probably somebody else other than myself. So there we go. Thanks very much, Julia. I didn't make head nor tail of those, but it's very kind of you to to pull them out. I haven't had a chance to sort of go into the group really and do much investigation. Sometimes, it's hard to believe that I do spend a lot of time doing other things, but not quite sure what other things I've been doing this week. Mostly we've been focused this week on the lovely Julia's allotment, because Richard Suggett has given the lovely Julia and myself the growing bug. I am determined to grow another arm, maybe another ear, perhaps 2 more noses, just anything like that. So I've had my whole body immersed for days on end in manure. That's usually why the rubbish that comes out of my mouth is what you could call SH, you know the rest. However, yes, and the lovely Julia has been sort of saying, you know what, I want an allotment, and she's stood there in the garden, whip in hand. You've not seen the other side of the lovely Julia. Whip in hand. Come on, Richard, she said. Get rid of those teasels. Get rid of those. Oh, blimey, all right, lovely Julia. Come on, no mucking about. Get digging harder. So, yes, that's why I'm exhausted, ladies and gentlemen. I've been round the lovely Julia's house, digging out her allotment, and digging myself a hole most of the time. Anyway, today we were filming the story of Julia's allotment and what she plans to do and how it's going to go. I said to her, you know what, this allotment thing, Mr. Suggett is doing a podcast about it. We should make a little video and put it on the Bald Explorer group. People would be interested. We might inspire people to get out there, do a bit of gardening, get outside and do something healthy. And she said, you know what, Richard, you are a clever man. Let's do it. So that's what we're doing. Graham Whittington says, Richard, a little field trip for you and the TLJ. Lordington Lavender starts this weekend until the 15th of July. We'll post a link in the group. Oh, that sounds very interesting. Lordington Lavender. What county is that in? Very interested in that. What will you be planting? Richard V says Andy Ash. Well, the lovely Julia is the one to ask, and certainly going to plant some purple carrots. She's interested, as we saw, some of those heirloom plants, so that's good. Matthew Holdsworth tells me it's in Serbia. Oh yes, that's David, what's his name, Richard Allen, whatever his name is, who posts in the Bald Explorer group, very nice, his adventures. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to seeing Julia's plot progress. Yes, I'm looking forward to digging the second one. Thanks very much. The lovely Julia says, I'm back again. Did you miss me? Has something happened? Richard says, can you share video to my group too, please? Yes, of course. I've got yet to edit it. I haven't had a chance to do that, but it'll be. We will. Glenn Johnson says, I'm building an engine in my garden. Oh, what kind of engine? What sort of engine are you building, Glenn? And is it for a car? Is it for a traction? Is it for pumping water around the house? I'd be interested. Mark Selwood says, you had all the top professional equipment in her allotment. Yes, well, I had to go and see my mate Steven Spielberg and said, you got any of that film gear left over from E.T.? He said, yes, I've got an old wind-up Bolex you can borrow. I said, oh, thanks. Sussex, Chichester Way, says Linda Kane. Not quite sure. Is that where the tree was? Julia's laughing. Near Chichester. Oh, brilliant. Well, we need to find a date that we can go and do that. By the way, the lovely Julia and I are descending, ladies and gentlemen. We couldn't make it down to Mark Selwood because of the summer holidays and trying to get childcare for the lovely Elijah and stuff like that, unfortunately. It's very tricky for Julia to get cover, on such distances, and especially during the summer holidays, it's going to be awkward. But we are going to descend on Shirley Ward. Shirley, if you're watching, hello! You only live in Shoreham, so luckily it's not round the corner. We're going to have a cup of tea. Now, if you would like the lovely Julia and I to descend upon you and spend half an hour and have a cup of tea with you, let us know. Send an email, richard@vobes.com, and we'll see if we can do it. We would love to go and see Jane Ainsley up in Lancashire. We would love to do that. It's a long way. We'd love to go and see Mark Selwood and have a cup of tea with him and do a walk with him. We'd love to do that. But it is a long old way. But we would also like to try and meet as many of our lovely viewers as possible, because I just think it's a nice thing to do. I just think it's a lovely thing to do. So if you would like us to come and descend on you, I don't know when, I don't know how, it's a lot of stuff, logistics to work out, but we'd love to do it. So do make that possible. Joe Smith says, my son has a small garden. He has no idea how to look after it. Little bits of film would be useful. Well, I'll come and dig it for him. Tell him the Vobes is on his way. In between the Tractor Fest, I'll just nip over and do a little bit of digging. How about that? But yes, we'll address all those things. I think that would be really good. With Richard Suggett's help, we can conquer the world. Time for another slurp of coffee. Ian Beddoe says, was that a Bolex or a Rolex? It was a Bolex. Some of these nice old clockwork 16mm film cameras. Bolex, lovely. Lovely. Shirley, you're not serious, says Andy Ash. Shirley, we are. We surely are serious. You're always welcome for a cuppa here. Yes, we must come and have a look at your quails. Actually, we haven't done a quail report for a long time, actually, Richard. So are they still alive? Have you eaten them yet? Mark Selwood says, I'm super upset Richard is not coming down to Cornwall, but Maggie is. Oh, Maggie's coming down, is she? That's fantastic. How marvellous is that? We will somehow, I mean, if Julia can't make it, then I will come down on my own. It's only 5 hours in the car. Don't worry about that. I'll get a B&B. I want to come down and see you, Mark. So maybe over the summer holidays. Of course, during the summer holidays, the roads to Cornwall will be chocker. There's only one road in, isn't there? There's only one road out to Cornwall, the Wall of Corn. And so I may have to come on my penny farthing. I hope that's okay. I'm going to put jet-propelled penny farthing. So it may be September. We may come in September. I'm sure that'd be good. Sarah Paul. Hello, Sarah Paul. Nice to see you. Lovely to see that you're still with us. Hang on a minute, I've lost you. Where you made a comment now? Where's you? You're both plus Elijah always welcome to come to Horsham for a cup. That would be lovely. We'll come to Horsham, Sarah Paul, and have a cup of tea, which would be absolutely delightful. We'll bring Elijah maybe. Wendy Wakeling says you can always have a cup of tea or coffee out my living van next Saturday when you come to the what's that? Knigsley steam. Do you mean Knigsley? Is that really how it's spelled? How do you pronounce that? Knigsley. We're definitely coming to the Knigsley steam rally. Oh, and by the way, can we sneak in? Do we have to pay? Can we sneak in over the fence? Can you get us in if we wave? I don't know. A bit of if we bring a piece of coal or wave a little bit of soot or something. Can we say we're part of the Wendy Wakeling team and sneak through without paying the £1,500 to get in? Not that I'm a cheapskate or anything, but I am living on fumes at the moment. That would be good. Emily Champion says, missing those quails. Yes, I think Richard Suggett's missing those quails. He's nicely full. Nikki Jess is laughing, which is great. So many lovely people to visit, says the lovely Julia. There's so many lovely people to visit, and I'd love to visit you all. And talking of that, we are going to set up. The lovely Wendy Wakeling has agreed to set up with us another meet-up. Now, you may not remember it. I barely remember it. When we met up, when was it? I can't remember the date. Was it in March? I think it was in March when we got the first Bald Explorer meet-up. And we met in, what was the name of the place? Bramber. We met in Bramber. Do you remember? We met in Bramber. About 20 of us met up. We had a lovely time. I demolished a tree, ran around the perimeter a little bit. We had a lot of fun. Sarah Paul was there. Dean Rhodes was there. What's his name in orange? What's his name? I've forgotten his name. Martin Snow. Where is Martin Snow? We don't see much of Martin Snow. I keep saying to Martin, come up with a thought for a walk and we'll do it. But I never hear from him. Martin Snow was there. Loads of people were there, so it was great. But Wendy said, look, I'm going to organise another one. Come along with us and you can have a ride on the back of Elizabeth, the Empress of India, the traction engine, on the trailer, which will be fantastic. Probably sometime in September or sometime, later on after the main season, which is fair enough. And it'll somewhere, I don't know, near Petersfield, near Liss, that sort of neck of the woods. There's a lovely pub. Go for a pub lunch, have a ride on the thing, and maybe we'll do a live show as well. Wouldn't that be great? So that's really good. Richard, you'll be welcome as the garden is blooming, says Jane. Well, we'd like to come up and see you, Jane, because I know you're right on the extremities up there in Lancashire. You've been very good. You support the show, and it's very nice. So we'd love to come and see you. Mark Selwood says, thanks, Richard. If there is a chance that you may come down, I have something to look forward to. We definitely will come and see you, Mark. Oh, yes, here we go. Wendy Wakeling's got it. It's Kingsley. I was just questioning myself. Knigsley? Where's Knigsley? I don't even know where Kingsley is, but it's very amiss of me that I don't know where Kingsley is. Little literary joke there for you, ladies and gentlemen. Literary joke, get it? Kingsley, amiss? Oh, never mind. Amiss. Oh, it doesn't matter. Julia's laughing. She got it. Richard Vobes, that's me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Richard Vobes there hasn't said anything. Mark Selwood says, I'm in London for a week in August. Could I go to Worthing from London by train? You could. You might regret it, but you can do that. Yes, it takes about, depending on which train you go on, takes about an hour and 20 from London. I'll let you in, says Wendy Wakeling. Shall we ring you? Do we ring you? We'll ring you when we arrive, and then you can, punch whoever's on guard duty in the face and go, they're my mates, you let them through, which would be great. Glenn Johnson says, I had a gig and missed it. Ah, yes, that's easily happened. Where was that? Do you know, I was chatting to a bloke. I was chatting to this bloke when I was doing entertainment many, many years ago. I was chatting to this bloke, and I said, I hate being late. I hate being late for anything. Pathological fear. You've got to be, you're always early, always before. I hate being late. And he said, yes, I'm the same. He said, I remember getting to a gig. I got to a gig 2 hours before I needed to. Didn't really know why I got there 2 hours before an entertainment gig. He said, so rather than go in and be 2 hours too early, he said, I had a kip in the car. I fell asleep and I was an hour late. Woke up an hour after I was due to start. Everyone was wondering where I was. I was only outside in the car park, but I was asleep. So easily done. Nikki Jess says, why don't you go to Cornwall in July? Says Nikki Jess. Why don't, you mean? Why don't? Why don't we go in July? It's fitting it in. And also, the lovely Julia, well, there's a number of reasons. A, she's got a boy who needs looking after. And also, in the summer holidays, all the B&B prices are more expensive. So it's you know, it's quite expensive, and they're booked up, and Cornwall is a big holiday destination. So that's really the reason. Ian Better says, don't you dare come up to Lancashire and not stay with us. Spare room, borrow Dad's, or use motorhome. Brilliant. There we go. You see, I'm already thinking, lovely Julia, if you're still there, I'm already thinking that we could kill a number of birds with several stones with this northern journey. You see, we could go up to the Mortimer Forest, go and have a look round, hug a few trees, make a video of our outrage that they're going to build and knock down trees and all that sort of stuff up on South Shropshire, then go up to Lancashire. We could stay at Ian Beddoes' place, which is great. He's a very nice bloke. And then we can go and see Jane Ainsley at the same time, and it will be absolutely fantastic. So, you know, we could get to see things. Brendan Potts has joined. Hello, Brendan. How are you? How's the windmill life? By the way, Brendan, be very good congratulations on your woodman's course at the you know, the what do you call it? The place you're at, the it's Partridge Green you go to, isn't it? That what do they call it at Partridge Green? The course that you're on. Well done, anyway. Well done. Very, very, very thrilled. I was actually quite envious because I thought I'd like to go on a bit of a woodman's course, or whatever it's called. But well done. And also, the 17th of July. I had to think then. On the 17th of July, the lovely Julia and I are going to Jill. You know where I mean. Not Jack, but Jill. Yes, we're having a private tour on video of Jill. And if the wind is blowing, I've been promised, if the wind is blowing, the lovely chap, forgot his name off the top of my head, he's going to set the windmill going. Just for us. We'll film it for the lovely viewers. Have no fear. That's actually a day when we won't be doing a live show because it's on a Tuesday. So that will be good. Victoria the Traction Engine, says Wendy Wakeley. Mark English says Bramber Castle meet up. He's bunged the video in. Top man. There we go. Thank you very much, Mark. On the ball as ever. I should say the Merry Wives of Windsor have their last two performances. Mark, if you wouldn't mind putting the link to your performances and the name of the place, something Lacy, isn't it? Lacy something. Lacy, Frilly Lacy Knickers. No, not Frilly Lacy Knickers. Not Newport Pagnell. It's something Lacy, and it's in Surrey. Anyway, the lovely Mark English is in this play. I'm going up on Sunday, 2:30, matinee performances, Saturday and Sunday. Definitely worth going to see if you get the chance. Thanks, Mark, for reminding me. I'm going up there to support him. I think it's only a tenner to get in. You watch the show. It's outdoor theatre. Merry Wives of Windsor. It's the Shakespeare play, but done, I believe, in 1920s, 1930s garb. I think it's going to be a hoot. And Mark English is in it, so well worth supporting, which would be fantastic. If I arrive at your house in August, then will you let me in? No. No. I built that wall to keep you out. No, of course, Mark, you'll be very welcome. Give us advance notice so that I won't be in. Mark Taylor has joined. Hello, Mark Taylor. Lovely to see you. How is the clowning business going? Mark Taylor, ex-fireman, now super-duper clown. Hilarious man. Also had eye problems, and we had lots of conversations when I was losing my eye. Lovely bloke. I miss Martin Snow, says Claire Leach. I miss Martin Snow. I don't know what's happened to him. Maybe with all this sunshine, poor old Martin has melted. You never quite know. I agree. Make a round trip of filming and visiting. Lovely Julia is in agreement. There you go, Richard. Somewhere to stay. Fantastic. Filming Jack is on the 12th. Filming Paul Couchman is on the 17th. Thanks very much. Yeah, we're actually going to Jill, not Jack. Jack, I believe, is a private windmill. That's at near Clayton, isn't it? The Jack and Jill windmills near Clayton. I used to know, and I don't know if it's still in there, the Clayton Tunnel. People who know the Clayton Tunnel. I used to know the bloke who lived in the house above the tunnel entrance. And I was at one time going to do a Bald Explorer look around there, but actually he got a different job, and he couldn't manage it. But I'll have to email him and see if we can. Polesden Lacey, I knew it was something to do with Lacey knickers. Polesden Lacey, that's right. Mark English is doing pole dancing at Polesden Lacey. So make sure you go. It's absolutely fantastic. Did you ever drive a tank? Says Ian Beddoes. Yes, I did, didn't I? I did that tank driving thing. Do you remember that on the Vobes show years and years ago? I did a tank driving thing. That was great fun. I've driven a monster truck, but not a tank, says Emily. It was great fun driving this tank with all these different... You didn't have a steering wheel. You had these levers. Luckily, I was in a very large field with nobody else in it, and the instructor was there. We did it as a podcast. I wish we'd done it as a video now. Mark Selwood loves outdoor theatre. Emily Champion says, which theatre group are you with? That's an interesting thing. Did you... Oh, yes, Plumpton. That's right. It was Plumpton... What's it called? Plumpton University. Plumpton Agricultural College or something, isn't it? Anyway, I didn't ask for the plug, but thanks anyway. Yeah, no, there we go. It is the Polesden Lacey Shakespeare.co.uk. Check it out. It's all very good. Now... what I need to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is... I've nearly woken up now. What I need to tell you is that the Vobe show is going to reduce its numbers. Yes? Instead of having one host, it's having no hosts. No, I don't mean that. I'm not going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because actually it's too much. It's too much for me. And I'm losing my hair over it. So what I thought I'd do is do Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays. It gives me Tuesdays and Thursdays to catch up. You see, I've got a number of books that I want to read, and I just haven't had a chance to read. Also, I'd like to eat from time to time. I'm getting thinner and thinner and losing weight. And I would like to sleep occasionally. And have a bit of a life as well. So I'm going to reduce the amount of shows I'm doing. Monday, Wednesdays and Thursdays. We're going to try that, see how it goes. Need a bit of time off to keep up with making the videos great. We will go out and do the specials. The Bald Explorer will still do those specials. Things like Tractor Fest, the Regency Townhouse and other things. We are definitely going to do those, but as Bald Explorer ones. And then the Vobe show will do the sort of nonsense comedy stuff Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. So we still have 3 shows a week coming out. And hopefully I can make them a bit better than tonight's show, which is me doing it on a wing and a prayer, which just out of sheer exhaustion is what I've been doing. How long have we got? We've got 15 minutes more to go. It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. Jane Ainsley says, I am north of Manchester at the end of the M66. What a shame, Jane. That must be awkward. You must have a full-time job going this way. No, that way. Don't go through my living room. It's that way. At the end of the M66. Must get busy first thing in the morning and about 6 o'clock at night. You probably have a sleep in the rest of the day, can't you? But no wonder your heart flutters with all that traffic heading towards your house. It must be a nightmare. Mark Selwood says reducing the numbers is very wise. Richard, thank you very much. Steve Blakey, my show. Yes, we must arrange a date to come round and have a look at your house and see if we can do the show from your place. Definitely. Still want to do that, Steve. I know it's taken forever. Claire Leach is saying it's a good idea. Andy Ash says it's understandable. Great idea, Richard, reducing to 3. Mark Selwood says we want you to be happy. Send in £100,000 and I'll be happy. Well, that's what I tell the wife. Oh, right, fair dues. That you want her to be happy. Yeah, fair dues. Linda Kane says, great idea. I can understand you reducing them. Kevin Hall says, by reducing 3, Richard, it gives you a chance to become human. Oh, you don't want that. You don't want me to become human. Steve Blake is sending lots of love. Linda Kane is going, oops, twice. 3 times a lady. That's me. Vobes, you can always ride a steam train on East Lancs Railway. Can we? Well, that would be fun. I'd like to do, you know, what old matey, what's his, Portillo does, do a few steam train rides. That would be quite fun. I'd like to do a bit of that, you know, find somebody to accompany me on some steam train rides. That would be quite funny. Also, Monday coming in the daytime, I should tell you, I'm out with Dumpman. We're doing some disused railway filming. We're going to some more disused parts of the railway in the Sussex or East Sussex area, including the old station at Bexhill on Sea, which is interesting. Then in the evening, we have Jonathan Beluzik, who's appearing on the show here live with me, and we will be launching our merchandise. Yes, we've decided finally. We've managed to get our act together for the Bald Explorer. We will have a man and a female, a man and a woman T-shirt. Not, T-shirt. They're not like men and, they're T-shirts for men and women with the logo on, and we'll be launching and making available a mug. Yes. Now, the way this is going to work, it's going to work in a very interesting way. These items will be available to purchase in a very peculiar way, but we want to keep the price down so that you don't have to spend too much money if you want to support the show. Now, actually, we're not really going to make any profit out of this. It's really a way of getting the merchandise at the lowest cost but the best value so that you guys can have it. And so it's going to kind of work like this. Jonathan will explain it better, I'm sure. But what we will do is we will show you what we are launching or what will be available. It will be available for a limited time. And then you will have, say, like 2 weeks if you want said item. And you tell us which item and what size, and then we will ask you for your money. Once that's all gathered in, I will put the order in. These items will be then ordered, paid for, and sent out to you direct from the company that will do it. So I don't, once I've got your money and gone to the south of France, that's the last you see of me. But you will get your T-shirt, so that's a consolation. Anyway, we'll tell you more about that on Monday. It's going to be very exciting. And then we will probably, have a break, and then we'll do it again and see what people think. We want your feedback, whether you think the quality is good enough and what have you. So there'll be a mug and 2 T-shirts. But we've got the possibility of doing more merchandise and more things in a similar way down the line. But I don't want to rush anything. I just want to take it nice and easy and nice and simple. Egg cups. Yeah, we may do egg cups. Debbie Martin says, great, would love a T-shirt. Thank you, Debbie. That's very kind of you. Richard Suggett says, my T-shirt is made by the same people that Richard is using, and I have to say, Richard's T-shirt is excellent quality. He is very happy. Kevin Hall says, female one for Andy Ash. Yes, it's all nicely tailored, slim, 36, 24, 36. Emily Champion says, we'll have to get one and take photos. Oh, yes. That would be marvellous, is to see the photos of you wearing your T-shirts and sending them in, and we can make a little gallery, which would be great. So that's nice. Andy Ash says, I'm game. Mark Selwood says, I'm going to have a T-shirt with an arrow saying, I'm with the Bald Explorer. Oh, are you? I don't think they're currently on offer. Tank Driving was show 205 from August the 14th, 2005. Was it really? 2005, August the 14th, Tank Driving, blimey. That's curious. I remember when I ran the podcast in 2005, nobody had heard of podcasting, very few. I was the 4th UK podcaster to start podcasting. I started podcasting in January 2005, and I was the 4th of the British, now there's hundreds of them, but I was the 4th one to do it. They started in America in 2004, sort of from September, and then slowly the Brits got it, and I was number 4. There was Podcast Paul, there was Dark Compass, and there was somebody else, and then there was me. The Tartan podcast, I think, got going, and then there was me from 2005, and I thought this was going to take off really well. I thought it was alternative form of media, and of course it has taken off now, but it's taken 10 years, more than 10 years to get going. But the interesting thing was, I was convinced that it was going to do that. I was working quite well at the time with corporate stuff and performance stuff, and I hadn't lost my eye at that point, so I was doing lots of entertainment stuff, and I took a gamble and I borrowed against my mortgage £10,000. I needed to buy a car, which I did I? I think I bought a car for a couple of grand. I invested about $3,000 or something into filming equipment and some radio studio equipment. So I had about $5,000 left. And I paid, at the time I was not divorced, I was separated, and I paid my ex to come in part-time for about 6 months to ring up companies, big me up, and get me to do interviews. So she became my PA, and she did, and I paid her to do that out of this money I borrowed. And then we did things like flying in a microlight. We did the driving a tank, which I think cost about 150 quid to go and do it, because I thought it was going to attract loads of attention. I thought it was different. I wanted to be the sort of action man. Where is he today? What's he up to? And with a microphone, it was so easy, just in audio, to go and do lots of different things. And we did lots of. We hired a small canal boat for a day and took a canal boat up the river, and we did actually film some of that. And we made a podcast about it, interviewing people left, right, and centre. It was great. I invested, $10,000 in there, and I lost. I lost all the money. Well, I didn't. I mean, I had the $5,000 that I bought equipment. I've still used, and of course, I used the car, but I never made a penny out of it, really. I mean, I did have some people support the show, of course, but in the grand scheme of things, it didn't really make any money. Same sort of thing as now with the Bald Explorer, strangely enough. People are supporting the show and money does come in, but it doesn't really, it just about pays for the petrol, really, to be honest with you. However, I do think it will. I think down the line it will. I'm holding in. I'm hoping. I don't have a pension. I put all my eggs into this basket now. I don't do much corporate work anymore, so I've got to make this work. There's nothing like burning your bridges and having that motivation, and that's what gets me up at 5 o'clock in the morning and keeps me going till 10 o'clock at night, and performing shows like this day in, day out, on the hope that by working hard somehow it will work. And so but that, you just reminded me, 2005, episode 205 in 2005, amazing. And Emily Champion says, I was between husbands in 2005. Oh, well done. Claire Leach says, I'm now getting into podcasts since your Naked Englishman. There you are, Claire. That's really good. Emily Champion, it's another story. Glenn Johnson, what is a podcast? Glenn, you must know what a podcast is. The lovely Julia says, challenge Vobes. My challenge is to learn to ride a horse. Yes, well, the lovely Julia is right. We have talked about this. I am not good. I've never ridden a horse. I may have ridden a donkey at the seaside when I was very small. I can't remember really. Never ridden a horse. Quite frightened of horses. But if we were to make a video, I'm going to be training up the lovely Richard Suggett tomorrow, amongst others, doing my video course. Talk to you about that in a second. But if we manage to, train him up, he can come and film me falling off a horse several times. Send it in to You Been Framed. So we could do some challenges. I've done some very strange things in my life, and you'd think riding a horse wasn't too scary, but it's pretty scary. On Monday the 16th, when I go up to see Joe and visit Biddington, I'm also going to see a lovely farmer called Adrian, and Adrian has a whole load of cows. I think they're cows or bulls, cows and bulls. And now I'm a bit scared of cows, but one of the things I'm going to do, that Adrian's agreed, he's going to introduce me to his cows. They all have names. So we're going to film that, and that'll be coming out very soon. So the challenged Vobes, instead of challenge Annika, challenge Vobes. That might be a good one. Vobes will fix it. Oh, don't say that. That has connotations, doesn't it? That says, now then, very busy man. Yes, if he was alive, he'd be behind bars. That's all I can say. Joe Smith says, good for you. Yes, Adrian said he's going to show me his cow, so that will be. I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to that. That should be good. Claire Leach says, I like the idea, Julia, of challenge Vobes. So yes, the thing about the challenge business is it needs to be something that actually can happen. So if you have contacts or know people who can make it happen, there's no point saying, oh, Richard, okay, I challenge you to skydive, and then just leave it at that. And I go, oh, right. I mean, you have to, either be in a skydiving outfit that you can help make it happen, because otherwise it won't happen, you see, because You need the infrastructure. It's not like the television where they've got the license fee payers' money to do it. Bull riding. I never said I was going to be riding a bull, Mick Baines. I never said that. Angus breed. Oh, yes, the Angus breed. There we go. I believe the Angus breed, am I right in thinking, Joe, the Angus breed, they are a very violent and rough breed of cow, and, if you're a bit nervous of them, they'll trample you to bits. Am I right in thinking that? I now got very nervous. It'd be interesting to see, says Mark Selwood, you getting over your cow fears. Yes, it will be, whether I'd be more frightened of cows at the end of it. Maybe I should do that on Cows Week on the Isle of Wight. That would be quite interesting, wouldn't it? So, on to tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. I know this is going to be a bit late for everybody, but I'm doing Make Better Videos tomorrow. Make Better Videos. How to improve your video making. I appreciate that not all of you are that bothered about this or can make the date. I understand that. It's perfectly fine. As somebody said, you're more interested in watching the videos that we produce rather than making them. But some people are inspired to do it. The lovely Richard Suggett is coming along. I believe Tim Simmons is coming along, who I've not met. And Chris Monk, who's in one of my videos. I've been meaning to do another walk with Chris Monk. So there's three of us. The lovely Julia was coming along, but obviously she's got to look after her son. So that doesn't quite work. And myself. So there'll be four of us toddling around Arundel tomorrow. You're welcome if you want to come along and do this little thing. It's from 10:30 till 3:30. We're going to be meeting in Gascoigne's Cafe, which is on the approach. I can't remember the address now. Richard Suggett will know. The approach to Arundel, just before the bridge over the River Kwai. Not the River Kwai, the River Arun. There we go. The River Arun. The bridge that Alex Guinness was famed with his bunch of people. No, I'm thinking of the film now, The River Kwai, aren't I? Not Alec Guinness. Anyway, whatever it is. So that would be good. We support Riding for the Disabled at Tractor Fest. They're going to be at Tractor Fest Gentle Lovely Rides. Well, that would be lovely. Might have a go. Mark Taylor says, I went to a podcasting seminar in 2014 and this American podcaster who was hosting one of the sessions thought everyone in the room was inspired by him to start podcasting. When I told him that he was inspired by a British podcaster. Hang on. And I told him by a British podcaster. He was astounded. He asked who, and I said Richard Vobes. Yes, it's interesting because many years in 2005 there was. I remember seeing this podcasting seminar, and everyone thought it was the new 2014, wasn't it? And everyone thought, oh yeah, this podcasting, it's a new thing. We're going to set up this seminar, never been done before. And then I tweeted or posted to them and I said, have you not heard of Podcast Con, which was Podcast Conference in 2005 by the then half dozen podcasters in the UK? I was one, amongst others, and we turned up there. And in fact, the Vobe show did a live show. My daughter was in it, and another chap called Jimmy, who I used to do the beer show with, was in it, and we did a live show at this podcast conference in London, where it was at one of the hotels that they'd all hired a room, and we did a live show, and I was in my red leather jacket without glasses and two fully working eyes, and my daughter was in it. We were one of the original podcasters. Thanks very much, and people don't realise just how far back it goes. Gaskin's Cafe on Queen Street. That's where we're going to be doing our video course tomorrow. So that would be good. Could you abseil down the Spinnaker Tower for charity? Well, I would. It would be the Richard Vobes charity, of course, the Bald Explorer charity. But somebody needs to have an insight on how that works, because just saying it isn't going to make it happen, because I haven't got the time to go and ring them up and say, oh, can I do it for charity and all. It needs to be, I will willingly do things, but somebody needs to have the organisational ability to set it up. That's what I'm saying. If I was down in the road, I would have jumped at the chance to come to your video class. Mark Selwood, you're pretty damn good. You hot stuff. I'm nervous now about making videos because you're chasing my tail, but that's good. Well done, you. Very impressed by your latest video. And you should not call them Vobing Reporting. You should just call them, your own thing, Mark Selwood Productions. and share them on ours and put them on your own site. Do them as your own thing. You don't need to say they're Vobing Report. And that lessens what you do. You're really good. Kevin Hall says, I love doing the Vobes. Sadly, I can't make it due to he's got his bad cough. That's fair enough. Mick Bain says, Winston Steam Fair is on over the weekend. Yeah, I'd love to go, but I'm busy this weekend. Glenn Johnson says, I still don't know what a podcast is. That's what Google is for. Type podcast into Google and you'll get the answer. If you put podcast Richard Vobes, that will also give you the answer. Check that out. Still got your cough. Right, well, I've got to go now because the time is up. Julia says, Glenn, digital audio file made available on the internet for downloading to a computer or mobile device, typically available as a series, new instalments of which can be received by subscribers automatically. And when they say subscribers, they don't necessarily mean for money, although some podcasts you can pay for, and mostly it's all free. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we have run out of time. It's been absolutely fantastic. I shall be back on Monday, same time, same place, with Jonathan Beluzic. Look at me, I'm wide awake now, ladies and gentlemen. I was whacked and knackered and all the rest of it, but now the old adrenaline is flowing and pumping and we're all good to go. So there you go. So do check out that. I may manage at some point over the weekend to get another armchair walk. These are my 30-minute atmospheric walks with no commentary and nothing. It's just a point of view walk. I quite like doing those from time to time. We may get one of those out available on the Bald Explorer group web pages or the Armchair Walk web pages on Facebook. So who knows? But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful weekend. Thanks so much for helping me out. And thank you for not talking too much amongst yourselves. I really appreciate that. I hope your comments were seen and read out. I do try my best as much as I can. It's been lovely to see you all again. Love you dearly, 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 dearly beloved. We are gathered. No, we're not doing that. But, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear this music, it means I can make myself another cup of coffee and get on with the next part of the days, which is to download the show and get it up on YouTube and sort out some bits and pieces of marketing stuff. And then, ladies and gentlemen, relapse. Yes, relapse. Oh yes, I've got to write my video script, haven't I, for what I'm doing tomorrow. I've got to write my notes out. Oh my God, it never stops, does it? Take care, one and all. Thank you so much for watching. It's been absolutely lovely. Take care. Enjoy yourselves, whatever you're doing at the weekend. And tune in again at 8 o'clock on Monday. Same time, same place. Bye for now. Bye, bye.